and welcome to Academic Transfer in Focus. My name is Galen Scott, and I'm the Associate Vice President for Academic Transfer Programs. We have a special treat today. We are going to be talking with Dr. Charles Cook, our Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs. And my goal here today is just for you all to get to know Dr. Cook a little better. I work with him and for him and enjoy what I do working with him and for him, so I want you to get to know the man that I work with. So thank you very much for being here today.
Well, thank you for providing this opportunity.
I'm happy to. For those who don't know your professional background, could you just give us a little thumbnail sketch of your work in public and higher ed?
Sure. I went to UT Austin as an undergrad, and I transferred to the University of Houston as a teaching fellow to get my master's in history, and got my secondary school teaching certification in social studies at the same time. My goal was to teach high school. I did my student teaching in HISD, and I got a job teaching economics, which really wasn't my preferred subject, but I ended up loving it and absolutely loving the students. I taught high school for 3.5 years, and it was amazing. It was so much fun. It was an inner city school, and I think that's where I really developed a passion for student success, seeing how much our students need and what a difference we could make in their lives. At any rate, Houston Community College, which is about the same age as Austin Community College, was still relatively new, and they offered a class in our building and invited me to teach as an adjunct. I taught 2 semesters as an adjunct and found out that teaching adults was even more fun than teaching high school students. And so I applied for a full-time job and was hired and spent many years teaching. I've lost track. I think it was 18 years teaching, serving as department chair, lead instructor. I was sort of the counterpart to Shasta for a while, working on an early version of dual credit at the time. Distance ed, I remember teaching distance ed, you know, in the early 80s when it really was using the Dallas County telecourses and offering those. So just had a variety of experiences. In 1994, I moved to Austin and had the really good fortune to work at the Texas Higher Ed Coordinating Board when there was a community and technical colleges division. It was led by a very visionary guy named Jim Lottie, who pushed us, and we accomplished a lot in the 90s. This was the decade during which the legislature created the service areas for community colleges. We secured full funding for continuing ed, workforce continuing ed. We created the WECM. For those of you who don't know, it's the Workforce Education Course Manual, which has been updated ever since. We created the GIPWE, the Guidelines for Workforce Education. We just did amazing things, I think, and I was able to travel to colleges across the state and just form a real network of friends and colleagues who were equally dedicated. So it was a fun time. In 1999, I went back to Houston Community College as the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, the same sort of position that I hold now with Austin, and spent the next 15 years there in that capacity. Houston is very similar to Austin in terms of the wonderful people, the wonderful faculty and staff. As a big city college, it had a lot of politics and a lot of issues that made it difficult. And when I had the opportunity to come and join Richard Rhodes, who I'd known for a long time, I was thrilled with the opportunity. So I came here in 2014. So I'll be starting my 5th year, hard to believe.
Time flies,
in August.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
So for most of your tenure here, your broad focus has been guided pathways, this notion of helping students find their path and navigate their path and giving them signposts and, you know, guidance along the way. What would you consider to be your top 3 accomplishments around helping students find and navigate their pathways?
Well, let me shift the focus a little bit. The focus is really student success. Guided pathways is a means to an end. It's a vehicle around which and under which we often call it our umbrella, under which we can do many things that indeed are creating those pathways, trying to remove barriers, simplify things, help students, get on a path, stay on a path. What is it that we can do to support them and engage them that will keep them going? And then finally, of course, get that certificate or degree which enables them to transfer or move into a job.
Right.
In terms of accomplishments, I don't consider them my accomplishments. I think that at Austin, we have achieved a lot of things. I'm so really proud of all the folks that I work with at ACC because we've done a lot. We've created a student success course for new students. We had a wonderful Futures Institute that engaged a host of faculty and staff to really help design Guided Pathways, launch it. We achieved a grant from Achieving the Dream to introduce OER resources and to expand them, I should say. Oh my gosh, I'm kind of blanking out. There's so many things we've achieved. We were invited to become board members of the League for Innovation, and I hope audience members were able to see the publication last week in the Chronicle of Higher Education. They published an article and a document called The Future of Learning, and they came here and actually shot a video on what we're doing in the accelerator with adaptive learning. We've grown from 2 to 11 early college high schools. We've created 5 career academies. So we're busy. We're doing a lot of good things.
We are busy.
Yeah.
And that busyness leads to the next question. I occasionally hear from faculty this notion of initiative fatigue. So could you help folks who are listening and watching understand how all of these initiatives really are related to student success and our focus?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's indeed what we're all about, student success. And that's what I've always loved about education, because that it really is what we're about, trying to figure out how do we do what we do better each time we iterate. Each time we go into the classroom or we go into the office, we think, how do I reach more students? How do I help more students change the quality of their lives? So, I don't understand that really, because isn't that what we're all about, is trying to figure out how do we do things better? That's what we help students do in our classes. When they don't get a passing grade on their essay, we point out, well, you can do this and you can do that. There are these rules, there's these resources. So, that's what we do with our students all the time. Can you imagine people in the healthcare industry, doctors and nurses, saying, oh, I'm tired of reading about new medicines and new treatments and new technologies to help my patients. It's what we do, it's who we are.
It is.
So I think if everybody keeps their eye on the ultimate prize, the ultimate goal of student success, hopefully that will help and help them understand we're not doing things for the sake of doing things, we're doing things to help students.
Thank you. Tell us why you come to work every day. What motivates you? What energizes you?
Well, I think very much related to that prior question. It's, what I always loved about teaching is that you had a break at the end of the semester, maybe only a couple of days or so, but it gave you that opportunity to kind of analyze and to reflect what worked, what didn't work, what can I do differently, taking your syllabus and scratching out one topic, adding a new topic, trying to figure out what's going to help students really understand why this is important, what it means to their lives and their futures going forward. It's that constant search, to improve what we do. And certainly that's true for what I'm engaged in. I'm constantly trying to read and figure out, okay, what's working, what have the results been, and how do we try it at ACC and see if it works here. And if it does, great, I want to support it and ramp it up. If it doesn't, fine, we learned probably something from that and we move on to the next.
Okay. Every job has its frustrations. So what sorts of things can lead to frustration in your work as provost?
Well, and you know me, I'm impatient.
Yes.
I'm impatient, and to a fault.
And you know yourself, so that's good.
and I, try to exercise greater patience with others because I want them to be patient with me as well. I feel a real keen sense of urgency. Like I said, even from my earliest days of teaching, seeing what a change we can make in people's lives. And I just think, each day, each month, each semester, students' lives are going by, and we're missing out on opportunities to really impact them and their families. And sadly, higher education moves slowly, very slowly, and there are reasons for that. But I think many of the models and many of the practices in higher education have come down to us from a day when higher education was purposely designed to serve a very elite and select population. And that's no longer the case, and it certainly is not our mission. Our mission is to serve those who have not been privileged in the past. So time's a wasting, but I have to understand that people are trying and they are working hard, and they're on the front lines doing the really heavy lifting. So I do want people to know how much I appreciate them and admire them and respect them for what they do.
So what are your plans for the upcoming academic year?
Oh, goodness.
Are there projects you're currently working on?
Of course.
Of course.
Our latest version of Digital Fellows is we're purchasing 300 iPad Pros with Apple Pencils, and the RFP is out asking faculty to make a proposal. How would you use those in your class? How could you engage students a little more effectively? There's so many different softwares out there. So many different apps that you might incorporate. How can we use digital? The thing today is there's so much information out there. Why are we it's not wasting, but why are we spending our time transmitting information? People can Google information. They can access information very readily. What we need to help people with is analyzing that information. Knowing, is this good? Is it bad? Is it real? Does it apply to me? How can I use that information again to solve problems, to advance myself or my community? So that's how I really want us to, move in that direction. I'm a big fan of Michael Crow, the president of Arizona State University, and his attempt to really reimagine higher education and reconnect it with the problems of society and the world today. How do we solve global issues, as well as, of course, for community colleges, local community issues, to get engaged and really help our community.
So last question, what do you think is the single best thing about ACC?
Oh, the people. Absolutely. People like you, Galen.
Thank you.
I am more than impressed. ACC has been a magnet and has attracted such talented faculty, staff, administrators, board members. I am so in awe of our board members. They're dedicated people. They're serving without pay. This is on their own time. And their heart is in it, and they go out and represent us in the community and help raise friends as well as money, so that when a new bond election comes around, we have lots of people willing to support us. And ACC has tremendous community support. So we're very lucky. We are living in a very supportive community. We do have challenges, but I think we've got the people behind us that are willing to support us 100%. So I think the community, the environment, and certainly the people inside ACC. I wish I could get to know more faculty. I was at Houston so long, I knew everybody there. In Austin, it's been a little more difficult. I would like to, at some point, get out on the campuses more and engage with faculty one-on-one, because you know, as I say, they're the front lines, along with our student services staff, our advisors, our financial aid officers, our counselors. They're all wonderful and doing an amazing job.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you being here and spending a little time answering some questions. And I hope you've learned as much as I have. I hope you've enjoyed getting to know our provost a little better. Thank you. We'll see you next time.